Hi everyone, this is Rekha, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Kamadhenu Arts and Science College, Satyamangalam. Uh, Today we are going to see about a river poem written by A.K. Ramanujam. First we will see about the poet A.K. Ramanujam. He was born in 1929 and he was died in 1993. He was fluent in 5 languages: English, Kannada, Telugu and Sanskrit, and also he awarded a Sakitya Academy for his collected poems and his river poem themes Indian culture and death and family. Here he held comprehensive knowledge of Indian mythology and belief true suffering and sorrow brings out poetry. Next we will see about poem A River, how different poets have portrayed in Vaihai. In river poem, poets write about the same things and write about the river's beauty. Okay. In A.K. Ramanujam, he was a great Indian poet, translator, scholar of Indian literature and linguistics. He was born in Mysore, Karnataka, to a Brahmin family that loved and encouraged learning. He was fluent in many languages including English, Kannada and Tamil. Ramanujam was also awarded Sakitya Academy Award posthumously in 1999. And also here the collected poems, his notable works include the stories Second Sight, A River and relations. And the real in river poem, the real horrors of flooding of river Vaihai, and he mocks the other poets of their indifference to it. Okay, next we will see about in river poem themes. There are 3 themes are available in this poem: Indian culture, death and family. And next we will see about in river poem stanza 1. In first stanza, in Madurai, city of temples and poets who sang of cities and temples, every summer a river dries to a trickle in the sand, bearing the sand ribs, straw and women's hair, clogging the water gates at the rusty bars under the bridges with patches of repair all over them. The whetstones glistening like sleepy crocodiles, the dry ones shaven water buffaloes longing in the sun. The poets only sang of the floods. Here the first stanza, A.K. Ramanujam explains about the poet says Madurai is the city of temples, and many poets write about the beauty of the city, its temples, and it is a river which dries up, making the sand visible. In the summer, water flows in small streams. As the water flows in small streams, the sand looks like the ribs of humans. In addition to the sand, there are straws, the women's hair under the bridge having rusting bars which obstruct the free flow of water. There are also whetstones which are shining and look like sleeping crocodiles, and those which are dry seem to like water buffaloes without hair relaxing the sun. However, the poets have written only about 2 seasons, that is summer and raining, for describing their beauty. They have not brought to their verses what loss has been inflicted on the people because of the rainy season. Next we will see about second stanza. In the second stanza, he was there for a day when they had the floods. People everywhere talked of their inches rising of the precise number of cobbled steps run over by the water rising on the bathing places, and the way it carried off 3 village houses, 1 pregnant woman and a couple of cows named Gopi and Brunda as usual. In the second stanza, the poet says that he has seen that incident when there was a flood. It also carried off 3 village houses, a pregnant woman, a couple of houses which were named Kobi and Brinda. Poet further says in the new poet and the old poets, no one ever talked about the pregnant women. The poet imagines that the twins were kicking at the while to escape but couldn't, and were ultimately drowned to death with their mother. The other poets never brought this tragic incident into their poems. Next, we will see about stanza 3. The new poets still quoted the old poets, but no one spoke in verse of the pregnant woman drowned with perhaps twins in her, kicking at blank walls even before birth. In the last stanza, according to the poet, the river is poetic, can be romanticized only once in a year and then in just half an hour. It takes away 3 houses, a couple of cows, a pregnant woman who was expecting twins having fair bodies and also was thinking of having diapers of different colors, so he has to distinguish between them. Okay. Next we will see about stanza 4. He said the river has water enough to be poetic about only once a year and then it carries away in first half or 3 village houses, a couple of cows named Gopi and Brinda and one pregnant woman expecting identical twins with no moles on their bodies with different colored diapers to tell them apart. Here the poet tells about the river is poetic and can be romanticized once in a year. It takes away 3 houses, a couple of cows and pregnant woman who was expecting twins, compares the contrast of poet himself and another poet. And also all the other poet tries to praise the beauty of the river and no one on the hand, the poet himself makes a balance between the beauty and the losses inflicted on the people by it. Next we will see about conclusion. Here the poem river shows the incentive attitude and the complete concern of the city peoples, both the old and new, towards the tragic situation of human sufferings and fatality. That's all. Thank you.